You're lying in bed, it's 11:47 p.m. You're scrolling your phone because you can't sleep, and you see it, the thing, the jacket, the gadget, the home decor item, whatever. And something happens in your brain, a little spark, a whisper that says you need this. So you click. You look at the photos, you read the reviews, you check the price, and your thumb hovers over the button, add to cart. You hesitate for maybe 3 seconds, and then you do it. You buy it. And for about 30 seconds, you feel amazing. You feel like you just solved something, like you just made your life better. There's a rush, a genuine high, and then you close the app and go to sleep feeling satisfied. Except when you wake up the next morning, the feeling is gone, completely gone. And in its place is a vague sense of guilt and the knowledge that in 3 to 5 business days, a box is going to show up at your door containing something you already don't want anymore. Congratulations. You just experienced a dopamine loop and you're addicted to it. Let me explain what's actually happening in your brain when you click buy now, because this isn't about willpower or discipline or being bad with money. This is neuroscience. When you anticipate a reward, when you're looking at the product and imagining how good it's going to be to own it, your brain releases dopamine. Dopamine is the anticipation chemical. It's not actually pleasure, it's the promise of pleasure. It's your brain saying, this is going to make you feel good, go get it. And that feeling is intoxicating. It's the same chemical that gets released when you're gambling, when you're about to eat your favorite food, when you're swiping on a dating app. It's literally the same neurological pattern as addiction. So when you're hovering over that buy button, you're high. Your brain is flooded with dopamine, and clicking the button gives you a hit, a rush, a moment of euphoria. But here's the problem: dopamine is about anticipation, not satisfaction. Once you've made the purchase, once the chase is over, the dopamine stops, and you're left with nothing. Just the reality of something you bought that you probably didn't need and definitely can't afford. And you know what's even more insidious? The companies know this. The apps, the websites, the entire e commerce infrastructure is designed to exploit your dopamine system. Every element is optimized to remove friction, to make it as easy as possible for you to convert that dopamine spike into a completed transaction before your rational brain has time to intervene. Apple Pay means you don't have to enter your card number. Face ID means you don't even have to enter a password. One click ordering means you go from I want this to I bought this in literally 1 second. There's no pain of paying. There's no moment where you have to pull out your wallet, count out cash, hand it to someone, and feel the physical loss of that money. You're just tapping your phone, you're spending imaginary numbers, and your brain, your ancient survival brain that evolved before money existed, doesn't register this as spending. It registers it as winning. You saw the thing, you wanted the thing, you got the thing. Dopamine delivered, and you'll do it again tomorrow. Let me tell you about the pain of paying, because this is where the system has completely hacked your psychology. Studies show that when you pay with cash, when you physically hand over bills and watch them leave your possession, your brain registers loss. The insula, the part of your brain associated with pain, activates. You feel the purchase, you feel the sacrifice. But when you pay with a credit card, and especially when you pay with a digital wallet or one click ordering, that pain response doesn't activate. Your brain doesn't process it as a real transaction. It's just numbers changing on a screen. And because there's no pain, there's no natural break on your spending. Nothing in your neurology is telling you to stop. You're getting all the dopamine reward with none of the psychological cost. It's like eating calorie-free cake, except it's not calorie-free. It's just that you don't feel the calories until you step on the scale 3 months later and realize you're $5,000 deeper in credit card debt, and you don't even remember what you bought. Americans collectively owe $1.23 trillion on credit cards, and a huge portion of that is people buying things on their phones at 11:47 p.m. because they were bored and their brain wanted dopamine. Now, let me introduce you to something called the Diderot effect, named after an 18th century French philosopher who wrote about how buying one new thing ruined his life. Here's what happened to him. Diderot received a gift of a beautiful scarlet dressing gown. He loved it. It was luxurious and elegant. But then he looked around his study and realized his old furniture didn't match the gown, so he bought new furniture. Then the new furniture made his old rug look shabby, so he bought a new rug. Then the new rug made his old desk look inadequate, so he bought a new desk. Within a year, he had replaced everything in his study to match the dressing gown, and he was broke and miserable. And this pattern, this spiral, is still happening to you right now. You buy a new dress, the dress looks amazing, but now your old shoes don't match, so you buy new shoes. But the new shoes make your old bag look cheap, so you buy a new bag. And the new bag requires new accessories, and the new accessories require a new coat. And before you know it, you've spent $1,500 trying to match a $100 dress, and you're not happier, you're not more satisfied, you're just deeper in debt with a closet full of stuff that still doesn't feel like enough. This is how consumer culture keeps you trapped. It's not just about selling you one thing, it's about selling you an entire ecosystem of things that all need to match and upgrade together. You can't just buy a new phone. You need the case, the screen protector, the wireless charger, the AirPods to go with it. You can't just buy a new TV. You need the sound bar, the streaming subscriptions, the smart home integration. Every purchase creates the need for more purchases. Every upgrade creates new inadequacies. And your brain, flooded with dopamine at every transaction, never tells you to stop. It just tells you to keep going, keep buying, keep upgrading, keep chasing the feeling that maybe this next thing will be the thing that finally makes you feel complete. But here's what actually happens. You buy the thing, you get the dopamine hit, you feel good for 5 minutes, then the thing arrives. You open the box, maybe you feel a small flutter of excitement. Then you use it once, twice, and it becomes part of the background of your life. It becomes normal. And you're back to scrolling, looking for the next thing, the next hit, the next promise of satisfaction. You're not buying things because you need them. You're buying things because you're addicted to the buying, the anticipation, the transaction, the brief moment where you feel like you're improving your life, except you're not improving your life. You're just spending money and accumulating stuff. And the whole time, you're getting poorer and companies are getting richer. And the cycle continues because nobody ever taught you that boredom is not a problem that requires a purchase to solve. So here's the detox. And I'm not going to sugarcoat this. It's going to be uncomfortable. Your brain is going to scream at you because you're taking away its drug. But if you actually want to stop being addicted to spending, if you actually want to break the dopamine loop, you have to do these 3 things. Step 1, delete the apps. Not disable them, not hide them in a folder, delete them. Amazon, Shein, TikTok, Instagram shopping, whatever apps you use to browse and buy, gone. Off your phone right now. And I already know what you're thinking, but I need Amazon for legitimate purchases. No, you don't. You think you do because you've been using it for years and it's convenient. But convenience is the enemy. Convenience is what's making you broke. If you actually need something, you can go to Amazon on your computer, log in, make the deliberate purchase, and log out. The friction is the point. The inconvenience is the feature, not the bug. Because every extra step between impulse and purchase is a chance for your rational brain to catch up and ask, do I actually need this, or am I just chasing dopamine? Step 2, the 72-hour rule. This is non-negotiable. If you want to buy something that's not an absolute necessity, you wait 72 hours. You add it to a list, you set a reminder for 3 days from now, and then you walk away. And here's what's going to happen during those 72 hours. The dopamine is going to fade. The anticipation is going to wear off. And when you look at the item again in 3 days, you're going to realize you don't want it anymore, or you don't want it as much. Or you can't even remember why you wanted it in the first place because the wanting wasn't real. It was just your brain, bored and understimulated, looking for a hit. Studies show that the majority of impulse purchases are regretted within a week. The 72-hour rule prevents the impulse from becoming a regret. It gives you space between the craving and the action. And in that space, you can make an actual decision instead of just reacting to your neurochemistry. Step three, unsave your credit card information everywhere, every website, every app, every stored payment method. Delete it, make yourself manually enter your card number every single time you want to buy something. And yes, this is annoying. That's the point. Because that annoyance, that friction is what activates the pain of paying when you have to pull out your wallet, find your card, and manually type in 16 digits plus the expiration date and security code. Your brain has time to process what's happening. You're spending money, real money, money that you had to work for, and that moment of friction is often enough to make you stop and reconsider, do I actually need this? Is this worth it? Can I afford this? These questions don't get asked when you're paying with Face ID. They only get asked when there's friction, when there's pain, when spending feels like spending instead of just tapping a button. Now, let me tell you what's going to happen when you do these three things. The first few days are going to suck. You're going to be bored, and your brain is going to tell you that shopping is the solution to boredom. You're going to feel deprived. You're going to see ads, see influencers, see your friends buying things, and you're going to feel left out. You're going to have moments where you desperately want to re download Amazon or break the 72-hour rule or save your card info just this once. And you need to not do that. You need to sit with the discomfort. You need to let yourself be bored without trying to buy your way out of it, because boredom is free. Boredom is actually healthy. Boredom is your brain in its natural state, not being artificially stimulated by consumption. And if you can make it through the first week, something shifts, the cravings get less intense, the impulses become less frequent. You start to realize that you don't actually need any of the things you were about to buy. You start to see the ads for what they are: manipulation designed to extract money from you by exploiting your dopamine system. And after a month, something even more profound happens. You look at your bank account and there's money there. Money that would have been spent on stuff you don't remember wanting. And that money represents something more important than the stuff you didn't buy. It represents options, freedom, the ability to handle an emergency without panic, the ability to save, to invest, to build towards something real instead of just accumulating stuff. And for the first time in a long time, you feel like you're in control. You're not being controlled by apps, by algorithms, by your own neurochemistry. You're making conscious decisions about how to spend your money, which means you're making conscious decisions about how to spend your life. Let me be clear about what this detox is not. It's not about never buying anything again. It's not about living like a monk or depriving yourself of everything enjoyable. It's about breaking the addiction to the act of buying. It's about retraining your brain to understand that shopping is not entertainment, that buying things is not therapy, that the dopamine hit you get from clicking buy now is artificial and temporary and ultimately harmful. And once you break that addiction, once you've retrained your brain, you can make actual intentional purchases when you need them without the compulsion, without the craving, without the sense that you need to buy something right now or you'll die. You can see something you like, add it to your list, wait 72 hours, and if you still want it and can afford it, you buy it. And it feels different. It feels like a choice instead of a compulsion. It feels like agency instead of addiction. Here's the other thing that happens when you stop dopamine spending: you realize how much of your identity was built on consumption. How much of your time was spent browsing, shopping, comparing, buying? How many hours you've spent scrolling through products you were never going to buy, just getting little dopamine hits from the fantasy of owning them? And when you stop, when you delete the apps and stop browsing, you suddenly have time, empty time. And that empty time feels uncomfortable at first because you don't know what to do with it, but eventually you figure it out. You read, You learn something, you work on a project, you spend time with people, you do literally anything that's not shopping, and slowly, gradually, you start to rebuild your identity around something other than what you own or what you want to own. And that version of yourself, the version that's not constantly chasing dopamine through purchases, is actually happier. Not because you have more stuff, because you need less stuff. The average American carries $104,755 in debt. And I'd bet a significant portion of that is from dopamine spending. From buying things they didn't need because they were bored, because an algorithm showed them something designed to trigger their reward system, because they were chasing the feeling of buying instead of the utility of owning. And the companies know this. The entire business model of modern e commerce is predicting what will trigger your dopamine, showing it to you at the exact moment you're most vulnerable, and making the transaction so frictionless that you complete it before your rational brain can intervene. They have PhDs in neuroscience designing these systems. They have billions of dollars invested in making you addicted to buying. And the only defense you have is awareness, understanding what they're doing, understanding how your brain works, and deliberately creating friction to protect yourself from your own impulses. So here's your challenge. And this is where you decide whether you actually want to change or whether you just want to keep complaining about being broke while doing nothing about it. Tonight, before you go to bed, delete the shopping apps, all of them. Then go through every website where you have a saved payment method and remove your card. Then make a list, a physical list on paper of the next three things you want to buy, and commit to waiting 72 hours before buying any of them. And during those 72 hours, every time you want to shop, every time you're bored and your brain says, let's browse Amazon, you're going to do something else. Read a book, go for a walk, call a friend, literally anything that's not shopping. And after 72 hours, look at your list. See what you still want. See what you forgot about. See what your brain wanted because of dopamine, but your actual life doesn't need. And this is going to feel hard. This is going to feel like deprivation, but it's not deprivation. It's freedom. Freedom from the compulsion, freedom from the algorithm, freedom from the trap of dopamine spending. Boredom is free. Shopping is expensive. And the only way to retrain your brain is to make yourself sit with the boredom until it stops feeling like a problem that requires a purchase to solve. Stop trying to look rich. Start getting free.